Okay, so in this video, post full moon and the very full energies that came through, I was guided in meditation to look back through my shamanic initiation course workbook, which I undertook in 2022, and there were lots of things that came through from that on a very personal level, but there was also one that came through that is kind of blew my mind. I'm going to be honest. It was an exercise that we did around forgiveness, but actually when I started reading what I wrote, it's almost like I preempted 3 years ahead. Interesting introspections of which I'm going to share with you guys, because it's very poignant for the energies that are available to us and the work that is being asked of us. So without further ado, let's get into it. Hi and welcome to Oaklaw Door. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Claire Attio. For those that are returning subscribers, thank you. And thank you for the new people that join us. Welcome in. So as I said in the intro, I was taken back in meditation when kind of tuning in, okay, what does this video need to be about? And very often I will have already had kind of inspirational niggles given to me throughout the course of the week. But that didn't happen with the full moon energies. That sometimes happens, and then I'm kind of like, okay, I need to spend some time and meditate and see where I'm guided, which was the case this time. And as I said in the intro, I was guided back to my initiation workbook, where I ventured up to Scotland for some more shamanic learning, embodying, releasing, understanding. And now a lot of the work that is done on that initiation is a lot of healing work. It's a lot of kind of letting go. What was interesting for me, letting go and making peace, I suppose, a lot of that initiation is, as well as a lot of learning. But what was interesting for me was, whilst we're always on our healing journey, I didn't find it so much about the healing. I suppose at the time I wasn't ready. I'd gone through quite a lot the previous couple of years to that. Got married, got divorced, moved country, blah, blah, blah. Just the normal path for those that are on the spiritual journey, because it never kind of comes at once. When spirit says go, we go. And sometimes we don't say go. Sometimes we go into resistance, and then we sit there and we're being pushed. And life becomes so uncomfortable that we have to do spirit's bidding. Anyway, or divine's bidding, or however you like to do it. We end up that, situations occur, and it's like, well, you said you would walk this path, and so now you're going to walk it. And if you go off course, then we're going to make things so uncomfortable that you get back on course. And that's how I always view it. That's my opinion of how it works. It's to be honest, it always steers me correct. So one of the exercises that we had to do was to list things we wanted forgiveness for, so that we could be free, so that we could be blameless, because obviously that blame and that judgment, that should only be given by God, and even then it's not given by God or the divine. It is just what it is. It's used as a learning experience in the hope that we will actually learn it, and we will grow, and we will ascend. It's interesting looking at the book, because the book says below is a list of people, and after listing a name, add the incident you are forgiving. There may be many, and keep looking And when it says looking, it was looking within ourselves until we feel clear. And what was interesting when I was reading it back, one, there were 7. Now I'm a life path 7, and I hadn't kind of noticed that synchronicity until today when I was guided to look at this book, which was kind of like, gave me a real big personal aha moment. And I suppose that is the thing. It's that phrase, write shit down. It is, journal and keep your journals. And if you're like me and when it comes to journaling, you're very disorganized with it. It's like organized chaos, but that is how my spiritual mind works, because I have a deep knowing, a deep understanding that my guides, my ancestors, those that look out for me, will guide me to what I need in that moment, because there's lots of things that I scribble down, and I've got 1, 2, 3, I think I've got about 4 journals on the go now. And I always kind of, when I'm going anywhere, when I'm doing a spiritual course, I kind of put them out on the bed and I kind of feel over them, feel into the energies and go, okay, which one wants to come with me for this particular course? And that is how I work. And I know in 2022, with the journal that I actually took and for initiation, and then afterwards I did the fire instructor training course, and I was guided to buy a new journal. And I was like, well, I've only kind of used half of this one already. And it was like, no, buy a new one. And so it's listening to those guidances as well, because it does have a way, if you allow yourself to be in the flow, if you allow yourself to listen to those intuitive nudges, eventually, even though it looks like organized chaos to an untrained eye, to an untrained soul, there is method in the divineness. And I was going to say divine madness, and then I thought, do I say that? Don't I? But sometimes it does. Sometimes we sit there. So I suppose it is divine madness. It's not madness to the divine. They know exactly what they're doing. But to us, we're kind of like, huh? Just let yourself go. Let yourself flow. Don't have attachment. Don't try to control. Going back to what I wrote, which is the key of this video, and why I'm going to read them out to you, is because it's very much about where the energies are now. If you've watched my other videos, if you follow my posts on Facebook, especially the card readings, of the weekly card readings for the past few weeks, they've been phenomenal. They have been talking about these energies that are with us and these energies that want us to get up and go. Take action from the inspirations, not just sit with them. And the first one was, I ask for forgiveness for the people of the past who oppressed and destroyed all they couldn't understand or control. When I read that this morning, I was like, wow, where did that? And all this is done in ceremony. It's a week-long ceremony. And so that came through from the soul. The second one was, I ask for forgiveness for all people who through fear exhibit greed. And we're seeing this play out now, aren't we? I mean, we've been seeing it play out throughout our lifetimes, but it's really increased exponentially, especially in the last few weeks. I ask that the land forgive the destruction humanity has created. Number 4, I ask that if I have unintentionally or intentionally caused pain, either this life or past lives, to another sentient being, please forgive me. And that comes back to that responsibility that so many are currently struggling with. But we can only meet ourselves where we are. So many are in survival mode. And so in that survival mode, they made really bad judgments, self included. And so we ask for that forgiveness. I ask for forgiveness for the chaos, destruction, and future destruction mankind is currently working towards in space. And again, I wrote this in 2022. In 2020, so much was sent up into space. Whilst there were unseeing eyes, because we were all locked and contained in our homes. Is it not enough that we clutter and destroy and cause such destruction on the planet? Ultimately, we will cause destruction to ourselves if we are not very careful. If more people do not come onto the spiritual path and hold those higher vibrations to put a halt, to slow it down. I ask for forgiveness for mankind's stupidity in believing it's superior and separate from the divine order. And number 7, I ask for forgiveness and deep healing for all Indigenous people globally who now react in ways that is not aligned to who they are due to constraint and prolonged trauma. Comes back to that accountability. And again, so few are willing to take accountability. But, I am my ancestors. I can't be personally held responsible for their actions, but they are part of me and I am part of them. And part of my ancestral history is that of constraining others. As a young girl, I grew up in Bristol. Bristol was the hub of the slave trade. The ships would come in. Bristol was built from money from the slave trade. And then before they were shipped over to America. My ancestors were responsible. But when we take it back even more generations, and this is not to excuse that very appalling behaviour, but when we take it back further generations, my people were enslaved, my people were slaughtered. The Druids were outlawed, were hunted. And whilst I'm saying that, it's interesting because what I'm actually seeing is a play out of history. We have an opportunity to start to carve a new path by walking in a different direction than that of our ancestors. And it really feels to me that that is what our ancestors are calling on. They're giving us the wisdom, they're giving us the support, they're giving us the knowledge of their time on earth, in the hope that we don't repeat history as it's been repeating, just a cycle going round and round and round, and the circumstances are different. The people exploited are a different group. But it stems from that survival mode. We make bad choices because those choices are limited when we are in bad circumstances, when we are in that survival mode. And it's through our spiritual awakening through meditation, through releasing ourselves from the things that we need to forgive ourselves for, from elevating our vibrations from fear, from lack, from survival, by doing the work on our chakra system, cleaning, clearing, deleting, aligning, finding all those tentacles of the octopus and cutting them off, because they no longer serve. They no longer serve a part of the matrix that we are breaking free from. Massive energies available to us to support us, to help heal us, to elevate us, to educate us. Are we taking advantage of them? Are we spending 5, 10, 15 minutes a day dedicated to understanding ourselves, releasing ourselves, being true with ourselves, so that we can elevate those vibrations and we can step away from that survival mode? Are we taking ourselves, stepping into what feels like abyss of darkness, of that dark night of the soul, and facing our inner demons head on, so they don't control the narrative of our ego? We can tame the ego. It's not about getting rid of the ego. The ego is very important to us. It gives us our uniqueness, our individuality. But it shouldn't be the driving force in our lives. The driving force should be our soul essence, what we came here to do. And understanding that. Letting go of those fears. Letting go of that shame, letting go of that guilt. All those lower vibrating emotions that allow for attachments, allow for other heavy negative entities, energies, whatever you want to call it, to attach themselves and pull us down even further, keep us anchored down in those lower vibrations. Cut the cords, release those anchors. Do a little bit of work every single day to step forward and forward and forward and forward and forward until you attain that level of inner peace, that you no longer have to be in survival mode. You no longer have to worry how the bills are going to be paid. You have faith that the divine will always provide. And when you're stepping into those energies, don't get me wrong, it's not going to be made easy for you. There will be people, situations on that path that will try their damnedest to keep pulling you back, keep pulling you back, keep pulling you back. Throw a spanner in that work, throw a spanner in that work, throw a spanner in that work. But don't sit there in that, why me? Why are people doing this? Why are these situations coming on? Do you go, right, okay, what's the lesson out of this? How can I use this and turn it into an even greater strength for myself, for my journey forward? How can I use that circumstance to be of service to others? Me just disseminating the information, that is what usually happens when you start to elevate, is turning shitty situations into a positive situation, giving fuel to the fire to keep moving forward. I've made it of service by sharing it. Each of us will be in a different place, in a different space on this journey. And it is about jumping the cycles that spiral up of ascension. Allow one to do a complete circle. Okay, what can I learn? Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, jump up to the next one. What can I learn? Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, up to the next one. What can I learn? Da-da-dum, da-da-dum, up to the next one. And sometimes, yeah, you will drop back down because there is something else there to learn. There is something within the egoic mind that needs taming, that's not quite tamed. And I had that last week. It was interesting because for those of you that don't know, I have had very tumultuous personal relationships. There's been a lot of narcissism involved in those relationships, and narcissistic behavior, full-on narcissistic people. And last week I was dealing with a situation, and the person that I was dealing with in that situation almost became a carbon copy of a situation from 10 plus years ago. And every hair on my body stood up, and I started to become reactive. It was only momentarily, but it was enough for me to be alert, enough for me to go, whoa, what's going on here? Because I don't get reactive. And it was within those full moons, and I love how full moons work. They illuminate the areas that we still need to do work on. And so I was able to do that. And so, yeah, in those moments, I was like, but afterwards, there was a blessing. I was able to see the blessing. I was being gifted that gift from the divine through that being, so that I can get rid of that. I don't need it. And there will be many, many things in your life that you don't need, that you're holding on to. Why are you holding on to it? If you don't need it, if it doesn't serve you, if it feels heavy and yucky and has you react rather than respond, why are you holding on to it? These are the questions we need to be asking of ourselves on a daily basis. This is the work that we need to be doing, so that we can start to bring balance back into humanity, back into the earth, so that we can all thrive. Everything can thrive. The planet, the birds, the bees, humanity can thrive rather than just survive. I hope you liked the video. If you have, give it a thumbs up. If you've not yet subscribed, hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you get notified when the new video goes up. Until next time, beautiful souls, blessings.